Are you thinking about leaving the USA? We're gonna break down 5 ways that you can move abroad or travel abroad. Stay to the end of this video for a travel hack on free housing. So let's get right into it. 5 ways that you can move abroad, travel abroad. Number 1, I think is possibly the best way is remote work. COVID came and changed the game, and that forced a lot of companies to revert to a remote workforce. And now a lot of companies have called everyone back into offices, but remote work still exists. Remote work is also freedom. You have to pick up your laptop and go. You just need Wi-Fi. One of the also benefits of remote work is if you're coming from a country like the USA or Canada or UK, and you go to certain countries, your money can be stretching, right? Jobs. Where do I look? How do I find a remote job? I'm glad you asked. That's why I'm here. First, you want to prioritize trying to find remote first companies. The reason why you have to emphasize that a lot of companies will market and highlight on their job description remote, and then they'll remote but 2 times a week in office. That's technically hybrid, right? A lot of people are applying for jobs and then finding out that it's not fully remote. So you want to find remote first companies or globally distributed remote companies. Those are ideally the best ones because they have employees located all around the world, and then they're very flexible of wherever you want to relocate. Normally those companies operate off of having you as, for example, an employee of record or a contractor. They will communicate with you the different pay structure depending on what country you want to live in and what country you're being hired from or based. So those are globally distributed remote companies. And then you have companies that also might just be US based remote, but they will allow you to be abroad just within the communication with the manager. So it all just comes down to the job descriptions, but also in the first initial hiring stage, speaking with that recruiter. Hey, could I relocate? Hey, am I allowed to live abroad with this job? But again, the globally distributed remote first companies are normally the best ways to go because they're flexible with you living anywhere. Where to look? LinkedIn and ChatGPT are gonna be your best friend. Again, these are the companies, these are the remote is the jobs that everybody wants. So yes, the demand is high. My advice, get into tech. So depending on what industry you're coming from, if you're finding that you're trying to move abroad, but you can't find remote jobs in your field, it might be worth looking to get into another field. And if that's the case, tech. Why? Because tech is only innovating and is only growing and going nowhere. With AI and all this technology, a lot of those companies are remote. That's the industry that you want to attack. Again, LinkedIn and ChatGPT is going to be your best friend. Do searches like, I'm looking for remote first companies. I'm looking for globally distributed remote first companies. Type that in. Also too, with a lot of these companies, they have offices in other locations. So let's say you're in an industry that's not tech, right? Let's say you're in, I don't know. So if you want to stick with that, you might just want to look at, and you can filter in again on ChatGPT or LinkedIn, companies with multiple offices, because what they will do is, let's say you're applying from the US, but you want to work in Spain. If they have a Spain office, you can get hired to work in the Spain office, or you can get hired and they'll relocate you and they will assort you and apply you with that visa. So again, I recommend tech, but don't close all doors, and filter on LinkedIn. LinkedIn ChatGPT is your best friend. Again, you can type in on LinkedIn, for example, marketing jobs with US company hiring in Switzerland, right? Because sometimes, since these companies are expanding, they want Americans, they want British or whatever it is to be working in these locations. Visa for that, nomad visa. Digital nomads have been a boom since post-COVID, and a lot of countries have boosted digital nomad visas because it also helps boost their economy. Normally the nomad visas don't also have a bunch of requirements. They require your employment letter proving remote work, a specific amount of money in the bank account, and then depending on the country, like a rental lease or health insurance in that country. Countries like Spain, Kenya, which is becoming the tech hub of East Africa. Spain offers nomad visa. The second way that you can move abroad or travel abroad is teaching English. Now you're like, what? I don't want to teach nothing. Listen, if you're in the industry where you can't find work, or if you're in a situation where you just want to go, teaching English might be an easier route and time frame than others. Why? Because English native speaking is needed all around the world. So how can you do this? A TEFL. TEFL is a certification that allows you to teach abroad. They normally prioritize English native speakers. So from the US, from the UK, from Canada, you're able to teach everywhere. Asia, Europe, Spain. How can you get this? It's an online course. It's about 120 hours. And then it opens up the doors to a lot of job opportunities. For example, teaching in schools or language institutes abroad. Do you need a degree in English? Not necessarily. So some countries just want you to at least have a degree. The TEFL certification is going to help out regardless. So for example, countries Spain, Cambodia, Mexico, it's not necessarily mandatory. One of the best places I personally think for a teaching job abroad is the UAE. You can get high-paying jobs in international schools or universities, and it's tax-free. Yo, so I've met people that have friends from the UK that have moved to the UAE, and they're teaching English, high-paying salary, and no taxes. So all in all, if you're looking into teaching abroad, or if you're thinking of something new and don't know where to start, teaching English is a great way to move abroad. Or if it's just to travel, base yourself somewhere of potential interest and travel from there. The next way that you can move / travel abroad, I would say more on the travel side, but move as well, is volunteering. Now, for example, working or volunteering in a hostel is a great way to get abroad, right? So let's say Greece, you want to go to Greece for the summer, you can apply to volunteer in a hostel, and they will give you free housing in exchange for whatever work is needed for that hostel. The best websites to find these jobs and works are Workaway and Worldpackers. Now, the only thing with this option is that normally volunteer work, they're not giving you an extended long visa. If it's a country where you're allowed to enter on a tourist visa, then that is a great way to just now get your foot in the door and then also travel from there. Now, if you're thinking of just starting scratch and need to go, volunteer work is the best way, because again, you will have your housing covered, so that is an expense that you will not have, and then you can figure out your next move from there if you want to decide to live or stay in that country. The next way that you can move abroad and travel is studying abroad. Now, I didn't even think about this, but I did this 6 years ago. So that is also an easy way to get and move abroad to a country, because normally when you're applying on a student visa, they're not going to say no. Other visas you can get denied, or there can be an extended long waiting period because of the demand is high, especially if it's a country of interest where everybody wants to go. But normally when you go to study, they have to accept you and you're paying them, right? So that is a great way to get your foot in the door. Also, when it comes to the student visa, they will give you a long-term visa depending on your studies. And then also some countries like Canada, Australia, and the UK also offer post-study work visa. I did it. So a lot of people don't know. So I'm a former professional basketball player. My first year abroad, I studied and played basketball in England. I was on a student visa, right? And that student visa was a year and a half because the program was a year long, and the extra half was if you want to stay and work, you can on this visa. And normally, again, when you're in the country, it's also just easier to then now switch and find an employer from there. And that's very common. A lot of people will go to the UK just to get the student visa, study, and then from there they get a job, and then they get switched over to an employer visa, and then they're allowed to stay and travel from there. So this is also, so pro tip, if you are from the USA, want to save money and be in less debt, studying abroad is also a good option for your master's programs, right? So I'll give a perfect example. When I studied abroad, it was probably 5 times less the price than the master's degree I would have gotten in the States, and it was also in 1 year. So you're getting a high level degree for less money in a shorter period of time. A lot of people don't even take this into consideration. So studying abroad is a great way to move abroad. The last way that you can work and travel abroad is working on a cruise or a yacht. Yo, you're probably like, what? Like, LeBron, I never thought of this. I played a professional basketball overseas. If I did not make it overseas to play basketball, my backup plan was to go work on a cruise. I love traveling cruises. Now, cruises are not for everybody, but the reason why I'm throwing it out as an option there is because it is a way to just travel, be away from society. You're visiting multiple countries, and I don't know what the salaries look like. You're not making, 6 figures, but you don't have a housing expense, you don't have a food expense, and I'm sure you're covered health insurance wise on the boat if something was to happen. You're meeting people from all walks of life. Yes, now it would get, of course, would get repetitive because you're going to multiple locations. So you can kind of choose the cruise route, or you can find a private yacht. There's yachts of people that are traveling that might just be based in the Caribbean, and they travel all around the Caribbean. You have week-long cruises, month cruises, 3 to 6 to 9 month cruises, and year-long. So this is a great opportunity if you're thinking, hey, like I'm getting older, I want to spend a year with my baby girl. You know what I'm saying? Traveling the world, but just on a boat, or even just by yourself. Hey, so listen, if you're enjoying this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button. Comment below right now, before the video is even over. We're gonna get into visas now, and then stay to the end. I'm gonna give one pro tip how you can get free housing abroad. So we already attacked nomad visas. This is for remote work. We've attacked the countries that offer nomad visas. Again, ChatGPT is your best friend. Another type of visa you can go abroad with is entrepreneur visas. So companies, if you start a business in their company, they normally like this for economical growth. They will offer you a visa. So Portugal offers an entrepreneur visa. Ghana offers an entrepreneur visa. Basically, if you have a business in the States, in the UK, and you want to bring it abroad, and establish a new location. Or if you think of an opportunity and you're like, yo, I'm done with the US and you want to start the business abroad, they offer an entrepreneurial visa. The next visa that you can start with abroad, now this is for the people that want to spend their money, golden visas. So a golden visa is when you make an investment in that country, they will offer you residency or even citizenship. Many countries offer golden visas, for example, Ghana, Cape Verde, South Africa, Spain, Greece, Malta, and basically in exchange of investing in a real estate property, you will then be able to get residency or citizenship. This is a great way to move abroad if you have that money to spend, or simply if you just want to expand your financial portfolio and expand your financial portfolio. Golden visas and investing abroad is a great option as well. Work visa. So obviously, if now you're thinking, I want to go to Switzerland, for example, and you're thinking of you want to just work in that country, work visas is obviously the route you would have to go. Normally, the way to receive this is you have to get this by an employer. So basically, you need to be hired by a company there and they will sponsor you the visa. So kind of similar to like if you do the teaching route and you end up in a country to teach at that school, they will sponsor you a work visa. Let's say you want to find a job in Switzerland because you speak French and German, they can offer you and sponsor you a visa. So depending on the industry that you would like to work in would then alter specific type of jobs that you can find within those countries. Will then prioritize quote unquote skilled workers. So for example, IT in Portugal, normally they see as a high skilled jobs and they will offer you a work visa to work for their employer, right? You have other countries where you can look into such as like Germany, Switzerland. If you're in the healthcare, if you're thinking, I just want to lead a US, right? UK, predominantly English speaking countries, UK, Australia, Canada will have work visas for you to work there. If you're thinking along the lines of hospitality, tourism, Dubai, UAE, that is a great hub for a lot of tourism opportunities other than teaching English. Last but not least for visas, retirement and long stay visas. Where all my retirees in the room, if you are retired, raise your hand. I just got you to raise your hand. We have a very diverse audience. Some of you guys might just want to leave the US and you're thinking, I don't even need to work. I'm just planning to retire. You want to look into countries that offer a good haven for retirees and what their visas look like. So normally these type of visas, for example, the D7 in Portugal, they will just have you show passive income that you have in your account and allow you to get a visa based on that. And then obviously the money you're having from retirement, Social Security and stuff will then qualify and have you as your right to stay in the country. Whoo! Well, listen, those are all the visas. Those are 5 ways that you can move abroad, travel abroad. More moving now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's getting crazy. Now it's time to give y'all the hack that you can live for free traveling, not necessarily moving abroad, but you can turn it into an opportunity to move if you get constant opportunities. Is house sitting animals. Yo, when I say that, I'm like, bro, that sounds crazy, but when you just listen. So Trusted House Sitters is a website that allows you, that puts people that have pets and they like to travel or they're going away, they put their pets to then be house sitted. The exchange for you come and watch the animal and you get free housing. So let's say you have a remote job, 3 months of house sitting opportunities, that is free travel. And think about it, let's say you go to Thailand you have a nice little resort looking spot that you think is a nice little resort looking spot, invite your friends and all that, and you just have to watch. In exchange, you just have to watch their pets. So that's a great travel hack when it comes to trying to go visit places and have it be free housing. There you have it, man. We just tapped into 5 ways that you can travel abroad, different types of visas. Whoo! Listen, I get hit up every week. I'm trying to move abroad. What should I do? So I'm gonna just start sending people this video because I'll be getting tired explaining it. I hope this video I found value. You already know what you do. It's your boy LaBoss. You better hit that like button. Comment below. And subscribe to the channel, baby. You watch the LaBoss Show, baby. We out. God bless.